County Board of Education to order the dues of job staff. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. First one on the agenda is our consent items, and do I hear a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion the board approve the following consent items, the minutes of the May 2nd, 2013 meeting.
I second the motion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Next is our discussion on the steps for a new superintendent search. Joe, you have some information for us.
Sure. Mr. Chairman, I know you contacted and asked about at least a cursory review of what the next steps in the search process would be in light of Thursday's notice of retirement by Superintendent Hamilton. Two things, it seems to me, are at the forefront of what the board needs to do at this point. Number one is that statutes require that within 30 days from the date that you became aware that there would be a vacancy, the search committee has to be established, or the screening committee has to be established. And as the board knows from its last experience in doing that, that is composed of a number of representatives from different areas, including teachers, a principal, a Board of Education member, members from the public, and those things need to get set up and be in place within 30 days from last Thursday. There is a provision where that can be extended to 90 days, but that's only if the vacancy that you become aware of will occur more than 6 months out. This one obviously occurs in less than 6 months. So first and foremost, the screening committee has to be put in place, and that's supposed to be done within 30 days of this past Thursday. The second thing, it seems to me, which is not a statutory requirement, is the board would need to consider how they're going to conduct the search process, and it seems that we've probably got two options to do that. I mean, there are consultants that are out there. You utilized a consultant the last couple of searches that you did to sort of coordinate that effort. You don't have to have a consultant to do that. There are districts who go through that process and don't use them. I know Russell County is doing that right now. Todd County did that just recently. You don't have to do that. Obviously, there are trade-offs both ways. The consultants come at a price. They also have a lot of expertise and perhaps have contacts to potential candidates and things like that are maybe more difficult to access if you don't have those folks involved. But again, they come with a price. On the other hand, if you do it internally, obviously you save the cost of doing that. There would be some maybe indirect, not maybe, there'd be indirect costs associated with that because they're obviously going to rely on staff and legal counsel and others to provide some of the work that the consultants would do otherwise. So it seems to me that would be the second of the two things that would be at the forefront of the board's work in selecting a new superintendent. Number one would be to immediately go ahead and get the ball rolling on getting a screening committee established, because that comes with the statutory deadline. And then the second thing, but probably just as important, is to decide whether the board is going to utilize an outside consultant or do it in-house, because in either event, the personnel needs to be put in place to get the search up and running.
Okay. We need to probably go ahead and advertise the position.
Right. That would be part of that overall process. The search or the screening committee is going to need to start looking at applications and things like that, and there would need to be some advertising that gets composed and approved and sent out, and all of those kinds of things to sort of expedite or get the process started.
Man, you take care of the advertisement. Do we have a set form that we use?
No, I mean, because we always, before we always have search committee. I mean,
Well, I understand the search committee, but I mean, KSBA did the last one, and they furnished the advertisement. But if we should decide to do it on our own, we just need to know the avenues for advertising.
Right.
Correct?
Right.
The first step would be to get the screening committee.
True.
I think you were involved in that last time as far as sending out requests.
Yes, I would send out the request. I think that, there's a criteria for who needs to be on the screening committee.
You might take care of that part.
Oh, yeah, I can do that.
We will take this information and we'll decide at Tuesday night's meeting, next Tuesday night's meeting, whether we'll go with an outside source or whether we'll do it internally. So that'll be a decision made by the board.
And I talked to Ms. Spalding before the meeting, and I know she's retained a lot of the records from the last search or two, at least, so that she's got some idea with that.
It's pretty much how it's
Okay. Okay. Well, one thing we do need to do tonight, though, is we need to appoint someone on the board to be on that screening committee. And Ed, you were on the last one. Would you consider being on this one here?
Sure. We'd like to.
And just let the record show that I appointed Ed to be the board representative on the screening committee.
I just want to add that MCEA is on contact with our representative here in the county, has contacted me. They always choose their two teacher representatives, so that they'll be in charge of choosing their teacher representatives.
Okay.
And then to the principal, we'll go through the process to get the principal and classify parent members too. I mean, I think
Okay, you find out for Tuesday meeting.
Yes.
Tuesday's meeting, how many of those do we have to have?
We'll have to have a minority also, maybe one of the chosen is not on the rank.
Does anybody have any more questions or comments or?
The only thing I have, I just want to get kind of clarified is that I suppose it doesn't matter what order we decide whether or not to go with an outside source to help us go through this process and or the search committee. So it doesn't matter which one to go with, decide on first.
Well, the screening committee is mandatory whether you have an outside consultant or not.
Okay, so deciding we're using outside source not can come anytime, I suppose. I mean, once we get the screening committee in place, probably.
Yeah, but the screening committees, I know in the last couple of searches I've been involved in assisting in actually getting the representatives on the screening committee in place.
Yeah.
So Tuesday is just a week away.
So I guess next Tuesday meeting, we'll have a screening committee in place, possibly.
Don't think we can get it
Yeah,
done.
some of those have to be elected by
Oh, okay.
parents,
Okay.
teachers.
Okay, yeah, it takes time, yeah.
You have to have the screening committee in place within 30 days. I mean, they don't
Okay.
have to start operations
Right.
within that period of time. Because it will take some time to let each one of those constituent groups figure out how they're going to appoint their representative.
Okay.
Can the chairman fill out a form of personnel to post the position without the screening committee?
The position of,
Superintendent?
no, the screening committee is mandatory. Maybe I didn't understand your question. Can you go ahead and start advertising for the position before you have the screening committee in place?
Yeah.
Yes, you can do that. And, and what I'd like to do is, if we have a copy of the advertisement that was drafted by the group the last night, I'd like to review that. There have been a couple of changes in some of the advertising statutes. I just want to make sure that that can be modified correctly before we actually send that out. But the answer is no, you can go ahead and start that process even before the screening committee is fully in place.
Okay, so Pam, you give him
Yes.
that information and Joe can change whatever needs to be changed on it before we start. Any other questions or comments?
Well, the only question I have is anything coming up Tuesday that we're going to decide on regards pertaining to the superintendent's search? I mean, there's nothing we have to do.
The only thing that we'll do Tuesday is decide whether or not we will use an outside source to for this, or whether we'll do it in-house.
Okay.
That's the only thing, and the 5 board members will decide.
That's what I wanted to do.
My only thinking was, as far as advertising, is the faster that we could complete a process, the faster that we could have an individual that could be in touch with Dr. Hamilton before he leaves and be able to use his expertise and certain things that needs to be passed on, so to say.
Well, I'm in favor of a seamless transition. So I'm like you, I don't want to hurry this, I don't want to speed up the process, but nor do I want to press her on our feet. So, yes, I agree with you.
And another reason that I think we need to proceed, it may not be that number now, but there were, after Dr. Hamilton announced his retirement, that left 24 superintendent's positions open in the state of Kentucky. So there's a lot of superintendent positions that need to be filled around the state.
I know it's pretty good. What percentage of that be?
I know the last superintendent search, we had 23 applicants.
And we were told we'd be looking at 10 or 12.
That time, yeah.
We had 26 though, right?
This is the only thing that we have on the agenda tonight. Were you all, the people in the audience, were you here to speak on that particular issue on the superintendent search?
No, not on that.
Okay. Okay.
Were they wanting to come before the board for any other matter?
Well, it's a special call meeting, and we can't bring other matters before the board at a special call. So I'll be happy to talk to you about whatever you wanted to talk about after the meeting if you'd like for me to. But we can't bring it tonight because it's a special call, and we can only do what's on the agenda.
How long does the special call meeting, like the closed session, how long does it usually last?
Well, we have, there's not going to be,
I just put that on there.
we put that on there just in case. We always put that on there just in case we're not going to use it executive session tonight. There's no need for it, but we always have it there in case we need it. So we'll be adjourning here in just a few minutes if that answers your question. Okay. Does anybody have any more questions for Mr. Marion? Okay. Again, on Tuesday night, we'll decide exactly which method that the board will use for the superintendent search, and then we'll go from there.
I make a motion, we adjourn.
So move.
All those in favor?
Aye.
This meeting's adjourned. Thank you all very much.